People always say slavery ended 400 years ago, but the truth is, it never really ended. Welcome to the live. We're gonna be reading some of this document, and then I guess I'm gonna accept some guests. I might. I don't know yet, but I really just wanted to get some of this information out. This live really is for, I guess, revelation, because we gonna connect some dots. Everybody says they from the tribe of Judah. We ain't gonna say everybody. It's very popular to say we from the tribe of Judah, and connecting those things to the Bible. So this information was very interesting. This is a book that was written about the people of Abyssinia. And then I have a CIA document that I wanted to read as well. But like I said, I'm live on TikTok and YouTube. I'm gonna see how I go. I might end the TikTok because I really wanted to do to get this information on the YouTube. So we shall see how it goes. So let's unite. Ain't this what you've been waiting for? So what you niggas wait for? Let's unite. Peace, peace. Welcome to the live. Let's see. There's a link in the description if you want to join the live. There's a link in the description on the YouTube if you want to join the live as a guest on the YouTube. They want you to sin, but just to be born again. What's happening now didn't happen then. God is risen up, prophet them on your brother in. When you gonna open your instant comprehend, and y'all can stop the copying, cause there's only the real standing in the end. Ready to ascend, tired of being condemned. So that's your life. What you need is wait for. I know you see it's the end time. And I know you see all of these signs. So let's unite. Ain't this what
you've been waiting for. What you waiting for? Let's unite. I know that's what you're waiting for.
Now, okay, hold on, let me pause this. All right. So on the last live stream, we went over, well, not on the TikTok, y'all. I'm talking about the YouTube. We went over the Papal Bulls and revealed the connection between the Papal Bulls and the Scramble for Africa. And we also revealed some information about Emperor Tedros and its connection. And the Berlin conference, we revealed some information about that. And I said that I was going to share a article, but I'm going to do something even better. Give me 1 second. Instead of sharing the article, we're going to play a video about this article. All of this is important. Pay attention because it's going to all connect to these books and the CIA document, the war, what is it called? The War Clouds Over the Horn of Africa, 1973, y'all. I don't know if y'all can hear it or not. Oh, is it background noise? Or which one? The Alright, hold on. Mm, where the background noise at? Which one is it coming from? Okay, I'm playing a video. It's talking about, slavery and its real timeline, when it started, its connection to Abyssinia. Mm, mhm. Kings. Imma go and get into this damn, document. I was gonna play another song, but y'all can't hear the music, so it sound like my voice. Mm. How about now? Let me see. I think that was why. My, okay. It was connected to my headphones. Okay, y'all. I think it was muted. I apologize, but you can go and see that video. Um, I think I have it on one of my the last upload. So now we're going to get to. Let me see, which one do I want to read first? All right, which one should we read first? That is not. We're gonna turn that off. And that was a commercial, y'all. Okay. Now, this is the war clouds over the Horn of Africa. Let's see if I can make this video over here. Y'all bear with me because I'm doing two different. So now let's see. Central Intelligence Agency, Office of National Estimate. I don't know if y'all can see that, but it says April 20th, 1973, war clouds over the Horn of Africa. The chances of an armed conflict, as soon as I start reading, what? The chances of an armed conflict between Ethiopia and Somalia, often the subject of rumor and speculation, are greater now than at any time in the past decade. Both sides have moved troops to the long and ill-defined border, and tensions are high. Neither Haile Selassie nor Somali President Said appears to desire an escalation of the dispute, but local commanders are less constrained, and in the charged atmosphere, a small incident could touch off actions which would be hard to stop or reverse. Now, this gonna get somewhere, y'all. Though the local is the remote wasteland of the Ogaden, when I saw the word Ogaden, I instantly thought like the Garden of Eden or something. And oh, let me change the page on this side. My bad, y'all. Y'all can't see it over there anyway, but um okay, so why did I highlight that part? Though the local is the remote wasteland of the old Gaydon and the force involved are small, there are military and diplomatic interests of the US and the USSR in the background. Now, this land, the old Gaydon, that's in Ethiopia, y'all. For anybody that don't know that, that's in Ethiopia. Obviously, this is about the Horn of Africa, so they're talking about the US and the USSR in the background, and strong overtones of the Arab Israeli quarrel. Okay. Hence, a conflict in this part of Africa would have fairly wide repercussions. This memorandum explores possible developments, and in the concluding paragraphs assess implications for US policy. So now I highlighted this part. I'm not gonna read all of these pages, of course, but these are official CIA documents that have been released to the public. So they're released to the public. The emerging crisis. If you can see it, I'll give you a chance to kind of glimpse over it, but I'm just gonna read the highlighted parts. As for Ethiopia, its national pride is at stake. The Ogaden is part of the heritage of the revered Emperor Menelik. Now, this was why I shared the video a few minutes ago. I might play it again because I think it was muted and y'all didn't really get a chance to hear it. There is also a lively concern that is one portion of the multinational empire. Wait, there is also a lively concern that if one portion of the multinational empire is lost, other peoples and providence will break away. So they saying like what Menelik was fighting for, if any of those traditions or beliefs were lost, other peoples and providences or provinces would break away. The discovery a few months ago of exploited deposits of natural gas and possible petroleum in the Ogaden introduces a strong economic factor. No Ethiopian government could afford to sedate the Ogaden, and no Somali government could yield its irredent irredentance claim. I wanted to know what that meant. The sedate irrigating. No Ethiopian government could afford to sedate the Ogaden. I wanted to know what that meant, so I looked it up. Give me a second, y'all, because I gotta share the screen over here. Y'all won't be able to see it. Oh yes, y'all can. I can do it like this. Now I looked it up. Y'all can't really see it, but anywho, let's focus on this. This is what I need to focus on. This document right here. So the sedate, the Ogaden, to sedate the Ogaden means to formally transfer control of the Ogaden region from one government to another. And we're gonna just straight up from one government to another. The US was trying to take it from one government and make it theirs, the other. In the mid 1950s, the British, like I said, the British government sedated the Ogaden region to Ethiopia despite protests from the local Somalian population. He viewed the region as a continuation of a greater Somalia. That's when I looked up what that meant. That's on Google, but this is a CIA document. And we're going to see that it says exactly the same thing. That's what Somalia was doing. They was working with the US, the Soviets. So let's see. Both sides assert their military actions in the Ogaden are defensive in nature. The Ethiopians moved troops. Fear that let's see. They moved troops. Reinforcements to Ogaden in February, March because they feared. Now, okay, let me change the page over here. I highlighted this part because it said that they feared that recent large military shipments from the USSR to Somalia were providing I don't know what it looked like it's in Madagascar with enough material to seize Ogaden. So the US was providing the large military shipments. They was providing the weapons to go against Ethiopia. Now, after that, it says officials in Addis Ababa were also distributed by the increasing assertiveness of Somali territorial claims and by Somali efforts to, I think that says, I don't know, some of the letters are marked out. The support of other African governments on the issue of the Ogaden. The movement of Somali reinforcements to the frontier followed closely after the Ethiopian deployments. Okay. Now, what page is it? Number 7, prospects for Ethiopian action. It says, if Haile Selassie had his way, listen to this, y'all. If Haile Selassie had his way, there will be no Ethiopian offensive military activity. at least not before the May meeting of the OAU. The aged emperor has for long set his sights on the OAU's 10th anniversary celebration as one of his last hurrays. This, y'all, for the people that's worshiping Haile Selassie, saying Haile Selassie is still with us. This was 1973, and he was doing this. Listen, the aged emperor has for long set his sights on the OUA's 10th anniversary celebration as one of his last hurrays. Okay. It is to be the African social event of the year or perhaps the decade with virtually all heads of state present. Now y'all, they talking about spiritual things and political things in all these same documents. I hope y'all paying attention. Why? Okay. And I think that's all I highlighted on that. But of course, there is so much information. Oh, that's not all I highlighted. Hold on. Okay. They will argue that the border with Ethiopia has never been sanctioned by any international agreement and is therefore different from other border problems. If this fails, Said may even ask Haile Selassie once again to sedate the Ogaden. So that's again, they trying to get mentioned twice. Another scheme, so that tells you that that's a scheme, is to seek mediation of the dispute by some prestigious African ruler. So basically put somebody that they can manipulate in charge. None of these are likely to get very far, but the Somalis have been encouraged by Muslim Africans to make the most of the OAU meeting. I wonder what made them release these documents. What made the CIA release these documents? Okay, we're gonna look at page number 12. Okay. If Soviet arms deliveries continue for the next year or two at the present rate, the Somalis may come to believe that they have the offensive capability to make an effort to seize the disputed land. So they was trying to seize the land. Whenever the Somali government decides the time is right for a grab at the Ogaden, it seems likely to act according to its own calculations, regardless of Soviet advice. The U.S. may be in a better position to influence the course of events in the Horn than is the USSR. Military aid from the U.S. to Ethiopia, and then they got this part blocked out. I don't know. I guess that's like what they actually sent. Normally ranges from 10 to 15 million a year, sufficient to provide modest supplies for Ethiopian armed forces, but it's not enough to make these forces a first class establishment. Ethiopia is too poor to purchase large amounts of arms elsewhere. So they ain't really had no choice. Haile Selassie is convinced that Soviet arms shipments to Somalia have upset the balance of military power in the Horn. They knew that's what they was trying to do, and is anxious to come to Washington to make the case for more aid. So made an agreement. And that was it. If the Ethiopians were to receive a more generous grant from the U.S., they might interpret this as acquiescing in a more assertive policy towards Somali, despite any accompanying warnings by U.S. officials. All right. Now let's go to this to this book, y'all. Oh, this was really what I wanted to share. I'm gonna play that video again. Now, y'all, even though I'm just talking, I was recording this for the YouTube, and I was just like, well, what the hell? I might as well put it on the TikTok as well. All right, let me remove that. And I think I'm gonna have to. Okay, here it is. Add that to the stage. All right. Oh, that's what I was supposed to do. Share the window. All right, I'm done with that one. All right, so I'm trying to get the YouTube. Remove that one. Screen. Well, I was gonna share it, but it looks like it don't want me to share it. Sorry, y'all. Oh, I guess I can play that video. Yeah, because it was muted. Not to.
Do we know that the Washington Times was writing about a black king in the 19th?
Well, I fix this.
We have been told we have been slaves for 400 years.
Come on.
That was untouched by Europe. And what I mean by untouched, he never been a slave, and he also portrayed back what his family, they never been slaves. So this slavery talk and what the things they have told y'all. But to know a black king was on the throne in the 1900s, and they was writing And they weren't only write, just some little small pieces about it. These were significant things, especially for a black man that taught that he have been enslaved by a white man before he did. So let's just read this little part. Menelik of Abyssinia, the most democratic of all monarchs. Now, why is Menelik connected to a monarch that's most democratic out of all monarchs? Because when you deal with the throne of David, when you deal with the Solomonic dynasty, you deal with the throne as in Ethiopia, you're dealing with the wisdom of God. This will put you above.
I was hoping to be able to share it.
And it's crazy how we know nothing about this throne. We hear about it, but we truly don't know. It says, he was seriously ill, dispatched from the capital of his empire to Rome. And if he should die, an outbreak menacing the safety of European representatives would likely be followed by it was true. We was slaves, but not like they told us, not like they showed us. Slavery didn't happen like that. Slavery didn't last for a year. You dealing with the slave trade, y'all. You dealing with something that's not too long. You dealing with something that started in the 1800s. That's a whole nother. Here's another picture of Menelik. I know a lot of people be like, where does African Americans come from? We come from Africa. A lot of us come from East Africa. Look at a lot of these pictures of these ancient kings who sat on the throne in Ethiopia. Their identical features match the African Americans and a lot of the African diaspora of the scattered Africans. So here's an article again that gives more evidence how Abyssinia look identical to African Americans, aka called Ethiopia today. We're not talking about modern, we're talking ancient. It says what? He was a giant in stature and jet black. As to his complexion, he spoke 2 words of English, but was accompanied by an interpreter. But for a bright red beard, boy, now Moors trace their roots back to Abyssinia. So a lot of people say America is built on Moorish time. So the connection of Abyssinia and America goes way back. For those who got the opinion. So he wore a fierce hat. There was nothing about his conventional attire to distinguish him from an Afro-American. Why they put that? Why they put this?
Why they put that in
That
there?
he, it's hard to distinguish him from an Afro-American because Afro-Americans come from Abyssinia. So it says somehow or other he did not hit it off well at the State Department. He had been hurdled as a special ambassador from Emperor Menelik, but examination of his papers proved that he was a private citizen.
It's not gonna work for y'all.
A
Sorry.
rich merchant who bore a letter from
I'm
Menelik
trying.
in general terms. So again, it was all about Abyssinia doing commercial trade with the United States. That's what the letter was about, to establish it. But I'm only, again, because we are being told that we come from America. Now, all this stemmed from us not knowing about this history. This stuff happened in late 1800s. We're not even talking about the 1600s.